Okay. Thanks for joining us, Michael. The news has just broken that you've signed the training goalkeeper that you wanted, Nicky Mienper. Can you explain why that is?
Well, look, we're obviously down two goalkeepers, two senior goalkeepers in Adam Davis and Angus Gunn. The situation left us with bringing Joe Bursick back, who's 20 years of age. Bringing our other goalkeepers are 19 and 17 respectively. So it makes sense to bring a senior goalkeeper in on a short-term basis. Nicky has a lot of experience. He's obviously played in the Championship last season for Bristol City. Had a lot of positive references on him. And, he's come back on the basis that, if he's needed to play, then, it's good that we have that senior figure around the club. And it's a short-term contract until the middle of January. And it suits both parties.
Bursick has conceded a few goals. There's a fine margin, isn't there, with goalkeepers? How's his confidence?
Yeah, he's fine. Joe's a confident lad. He has, it's difficult. You come back, he's conceded 6 goals in 2 games. I don't think any of them are directly linked to Joe. There may be things in the game that he felt he might have wanted to do better with. But that's the nature of I think, the games that he's been involved in, to be honest. And, as a team, we're disappointed to concede 6 goals. But this is a test for him. Of course it is. He's obviously his loan spells have been out in League One football. He's now in the Championship. And, he'll handle the situation. I don't have any doubts about that. And it's nice to have, obviously, senior backup there to help the situation. We've had to make substitutions in games for goalkeepers as well, so it's important that you have a bit of experience there if necessary. But Joe will be fine. This is all part of his learning curve. At the end of the day, whilst we've still won one of those games, and we were very unlucky not to take something in the other game. So that's the nature of the games, unfortunately, that he's been involved in.
And after the results, you'll be pleased with the reaction to going behind, particularly when they lost a player. But as you've so often said, you've got to be consistent and bounce back for your next match, haven't you? And be looking for that, won't you, against Sheffield Wednesday?
Yeah, we look at the season so far, and we've lost a game. We've gone and won the next one, which has been very important. And obviously the game comes around tomorrow. It gives us that opportunity to do that. I think it's the game on Tuesday night was difficult. We went behind. I thought I reacted well to when we went 2-0 down. When we look back on the game, Norwich didn't have a lot of chances in the game, really. They were very, very clinical, which is down to, I think, the quality that they have at the top end of the pitch. They kept the ball better than us for the first half an hour. There's no doubt about that either. That's something that we have to continue to look to improve in. But ultimately, there was very little in the game. We were disappointed to come away with not being able to take at least a point from the game. But unfortunately, we couldn't get that third goal. And, we have to try and put that right tomorrow.
How are we on the injury front? Is Stephen Fletcher okay?
No, Stephen Fletcher won't be fit. He won't be fit. And obviously, we have Joe Allen still on the comeback trail, Ryan still on the comeback trail, and the 2 goalkeepers, Jordan Thompson, still not fit. I think that's where we are at the moment, yeah.
But James McLean is fit and no doubt raring to go again.
Well, James is available. It's he only trained yesterday for the first day. So after obviously, first of all, a period of being away on international duty, and then a period of self-isolation. So we'll see how he reacts to training. We haven't trained yet today. We're training this afternoon. We'll see how he reacts to training today, and then see whether he's available to start or possibly obviously be involved off the bench.
It'll be a different type of game against Sheffield Wednesday. The last 2 games you've played have been quite technical, but every Stoke supporter will know how Tony Pulis sets up his sides, and it'll be a difficult one for you tomorrow. They'll be well organised and up having got a good point at Swansea.
They will be, yeah. We watched the game back. They were very well organised. They got ahead in the game, and they'll be, if that situation happens, they're a very difficult team to play against. Tony's teams are always well organised. But we concentrate a lot. We concentrate, try and concentrate more on ourselves, to be honest, because the games are coming so quickly. We're focusing on things in our performance that need to be better, things in our performance that have been good and consistent, and we want to see that again tomorrow. Look, we are pretty much, I think, we're the second top goal scorers in the league, but equally, in recent weeks in particular, we've conceded too many, and that's something that we need to address as a team. And but yeah, exactly, Sheffield Wednesday present us a difficult game, but as I say, I think in this championship, in the season that is at the moment, I think the focus has to be on ourselves.
Do you think that part of the way the football club are conceding goals is because of the young goalkeeper? The defence are trying to protect him, and we're perhaps staying off and giving other players too much respect? Or do you think that's totally nothing to do with it?
That's nothing to do with it, no. The reason we're conceding goals is because we're making individual mistakes, pretty much. If you look at the goals back, we've looked back at we've looked back at all the goals this season, and I don't think it's down to tactical side of things. We felt that we were more secure in a back three earlier in the season. We conceded 3 in a back three playing in the game the other night. So we conceded 3 in a back 4 on the Saturday. So, we have to look at the nature of the goals. We've conceded goals because people have made poor decisions in terms of the defensive decisions they've made. We've conceded goals because people have made technical errors in bad areas. We've maybe not picked up at a set piece properly. That's why we've conceded goals more than any other reason. It's not been down to a lack of understanding between the goalkeeping situation. We've had to play with 3 goalkeepers this year already, which isn't ideal. But when we look back at the goals, it's more down to individual mistakes and decisions that obviously we need to improve on.
And I'm guessing because you're playing so many matches, the players are enjoying just playing and not doing a great deal of training. And most of the work you're doing will be on shape and tactics, will it?
Yeah, well, look, we're playing every 3 days, which means essentially it makes it quite difficult to review the game in any great detail because you have to move quickly on to the next game. We have a recovery day. They get very little, if they're, I think between now and possibly the 9th of January, we've scheduled possibly 4 to 5 days off, which is very little. It's very difficult. And players need a break mentally as much as anything else. So, yeah, we're trying to be as consistent as possible with the work we do. Obviously, if we change the shape of the team a little bit, we have to work on that. We don't just, throw the players out and expect them to be able to adapt. But we're not asking them to do anything that is that radical, whether we play with a 3 at the back or a 4 at the back. And we've been consistent in the work that we do. We've really only got, you kind of have 2 squads because you've a squad which is training who haven't played, and then you've got a squad who are training who have played. And obviously what they have in their legs determines the level of training they can do. And the most important thing is that the team that goes on the pitch is physically in as good a condition as possible to play, and obviously know what's required of them tactically as well.
It's your 50th game in charge tomorrow. I'm not sure if you're aware of that, but it must have been a bit of a roller coaster ride, and you must be much happier now than when you came in.
Well, yeah, look, it wasn't ideal when I come in, but look, none of that was my fault, so it was okay then, to be honest. So yeah, I think, 50 games. I only was aware of that when Fraser told me leading into the interview. So yeah, it's flowing in. Really, I think it was a good couple of years, or a good few years of international football before I played 50 games. So it's a different scenario from what I was previously used to. I think overall, we've got to be pleased with where we are in that 12-month period, where that 50 games has taken us. There's things in there that we still look to want to improve on. We're in a position in the league that I think if we can continue to look to push on and progress. People talk about promotion and that sort of things, but look, we were bottom of the league this time last year. And, the only word that really we talk about in here, beginning with P, is progress more than anything else. And that's what we're focusing on.
Well, I wish you luck for tomorrow. And one great measure of progress will be if you get 3 points against a former manager, because Stoke City struggle to do that. So good luck tomorrow.
Okay. Thanks, Angela.
Dave Lee.
Okay. Hi, Michael.
Hi, Dave.
You were mentioning the games are coming thick and fast, and one of the things that Tony Pulis said was that he felt a little bit aggrieved that his game against Swansea was a Wednesday night, 7:45, and yours was 7 o'clock on a Tuesday, and that extra day, and that kind of makes a difference. It did remind me, though, that I think at the end of last season, there was a game against Bristol, and you were wanting to bring that kick-off earlier, so you could get home from there. The players could be home by midnight or whatever it is, at a reasonable time. How much of an advantage does this have for clubs? And would you go for a plan where all the midweek kickoffs were on the same day at the same time?
Yeah, I think over the season it evens itself out. We've had a difficult. A week ago we had to play away at Watford on a Wednesday night. We had to come back via, as always, roadworks are done at night. So I think by the time we got back to the training ground, it was about 2 o'clock in the morning. We'd come back off a pretty poor refereeing performance as well. So none of those things help when you come in and then you have to turn the team around. And then we had to go to Watford, for example, Reading on the Friday and play again. That is the nature of the league. I do think that probably over the season it evens itself out. But yeah, I would agree that I think it would possibly be fairer if everyone did play on the same schedule as opposed to a Tuesday and a Wednesday. But equally, part of that is driven by, what games are broadcast and not broadcast, so I just think you just have to deal with the situation. It is difficult. It is difficult when you play away on a Wednesday night. And it's more difficult if you've got 2 away games, which we had, as opposed to now Sheffield Wednesday coming in a home game, and that's just the nature of the league. It's I think that type of preparation is as much mental as physical, to be honest. But no, sometimes the schedule at times can be more challenging than at other times.
Mm. And as you say, as the games are coming thick and fast. December. 8 league games, and with the cup game, 9 games in December. So much for the Christmas spirit. Are you celebrating Christmas? Did you say January the 9th? You might actually get some time off. Is that right? Is that when you're celebrating Christmas?
No. I'll still celebrate Christmas, but what we've looked at, because of the nature of the games, really, if we play on a Tuesday night, we try and have a 2-day lead into every game, which means that if we play on a Tuesday night, there's the opportunity to potentially give the players Wednesday off. If we play on a Wednesday night, there's the potential to give the players this previous Sunday off, which means you have a 2-day lead into every game. And that's the only sort of day that they can have off based around the schedule. And they need time away from the training ground as well. They need time away from each other and travel. And at this minute in time, it's still quite difficult because of the COVID restrictions. And so that's where, our time off, given the current schedule, is very, very limited, and we have to manage the players through that. We have to keep them as fresh as possible, as I say, both mentally and physically. And it's a hugely demanding December. And, as I say, a lot of challenges. You can lose players with injury. You can use players because of self-isolation. There's any number of situations that can arise in this period. But, everyone's in the same boat, and you just have to get through it.
Yeah, demanding, as you say. And talking of demanding, one of your most demanding games, I reckon, will be tomorrow against Tony Pulis. He loves to play Stoke because he sets up a side that is determined to get a result. But what's interesting was I've seen a real steely determination within Stoke. It was interesting in the Norwich game that you got a goal back within, I think it was 56 seconds after the red card. The players just leapt up and said, right, we're going for it. Is that the sort of spirit you want to see on Saturday?
Well, yeah, I think, the red card was a factor, but if you look at it, we should have scored before that when we hit the bar in the first half. I think those are all factors in the game. And, much is made of, like, Tony's obviously was a great manager for this club, but we're playing Sheffield Wednesday tomorrow. Me and Tony won't influence the game that much, to be honest. And that's what we're focused on. We know how Tony will set his team up. He's obviously inherited a situation where the club is, in a difficult situation beginning where they began the season rather. And, look, there's probably no better man to be able to take a club away from that situation. But our focus is on Sheffield Wednesday and how they play. We're not bogged down by the past. And the spirit that's in the group, I think we've seen that consistently this season when we've gone behind in games. I think that's a big difference from possibly, what we saw at times last season. And, that comes overall with better results. I think we have a better group of players than we had last season. And we have a group of players which is focused on, as I say, continuing to progress and continuing to push at the top half of the league.
That's great. Good luck tomorrow.
Thank you.
Thanks, Dave. Just a few from you now, George, please.
Yeah, thanks for joining us, Michael, in more ways than one. You've got the goalkeeping situation, you've got the goalkeeper you want, but you still give Joe the vote of confidence?
Look, I think these are misinterpreting the situation around the goalkeeper. We had to sign another goalkeeper because the injuries to the two keepers, they could be out for a number of weeks. Adam Davis has already been out for a number of weeks, which means that we have a very inexperienced goalkeeping department. So we haven't signed the goalkeeper based on how Joe's played in 2 games. We were signing the goalkeeper anyway. We just haven't had the chance to do it. They don't grow on trees, goalkeepers, when you're in this situation. We were very restricted with what the league allowed us to do. For example, when we brought Joe back, we were then only restricted to the free agent market. As I said previously, before we had to make that decision, we only were restricted to an emergency loan, which we weren't allowed to go to the Premier League for. So we were in a very, very limited choice of what we did. So as soon as we brought Joe back, we knew that we would need experienced cover as well. We only have young Blondie, who's 19. So, to go into Championship for a period of time with 2 goalkeepers aged 19 and 20, I think would be a poor decision for us to make as a club. So, the goalkeeper, Nicky, has come in. He's been without a club since the summer. It's going to take him a little bit of time. He trained yesterday. He was excellent in training, to be fair. And that's what we want. We have that strength and depth should we need it. As has been mentioned this season, we play every 3 days. We've already seen a goalkeeper leave the field because of injury. We could see a goalkeeper sent off, for example. So it's important to have the experience in that situation.
Ryan came through the game okay. No reaction at all. Is he okay? And
yeah,
moving in the right direction.
Ryan came through the 90 minutes on Monday night. It was a little bit disappointing because getting back to goalkeepers, the young goalkeeper was sent off after 8 minutes in the game, which meant that we probably didn't get the type of game that we wanted for Ryan, i.e. we had to defend very deep, and Aston Villa were a good team at that level. So it wasn't probably the type of game that Ryan needed, in fairness, but he got through the 90 minutes. On Ryan's return to play and return to get back involved, we've looked at him at least getting 2 90 minutes at that level. There's another game on Monday which he'll play in, and as I say, hopefully come through that as well. But the most important thing, I think, was the fact he got through 90 minutes, because unfortunately that's been something which he's found difficult when he's been coming back from this injury situation.
And finally from me, you go to Sheffield Wednesday, obviously in good form, particularly away from home, and you're meeting a manager who does set up his teams particularly and uses set pieces very effectively, doesn't he, Tony?
Yeah, I mean, Sheffield Wednesday will cause us problems. There's no doubt about that. First of all, they've got a lot of good players. People don't overlook the fact, people like Barry Bannon in particular, excellent player, one of the best midfield players in the Championship. We obviously felt, we took 2 of their players last season in Fletch and Morgan, who were 2 of their, I think, standout players last season as well. So, but, Sheffield Wednesday is a big club. They've had a difficult time with the points deduction. But if you look at that in isolation, they've got 13 points this season. So they've done well, I think, in the scenario they were in. They've made a change of manager, and I'm sure Tony will have an impact there. But our focus is on the game and the style of the game and how we impose our game on Sheffield Wednesday. And that's what we'll work on today in training. That's what we'll work on in terms of the analysis. And as I say, hopefully get the right performance and the right result.